The king was in the counting house counting out the money. The queen was in the parlour eating bread and honey. But she wishes she wasn't. She wishes she was eating fish and chips. They always smelt so good when she passed the crowds who cheered her as she went through every town. She could get a chef to make her some, but they never tasted as good. Then she had an idea. She could go out and get some, just like anyone else. But how could she do it without being recognised? And then she remembered the night maid was asleep in the downstairs room. The queen had always loved that coat. It looked so cosy. She popped it on and off she went. As she passed the guard, he said, "Night, Madge." Her knees went wobbly and she nearly died on her feet. She just hurried past. Near where she lived, there was no chips to be seen. She stood by the bus stop and the first bus appeared out of the gloom and then disappeared past her. The second bus appeared again out of the dark night. She raised her hand in her queenie way and the bus still went past. With the third bus, she was getting far too hungry. She started waving her arms around. The bus pulled to a halt. "You don't have to make such a big deal about it," said the bus driver. She looked out the window. Full moon. Before she knew it, she was in the busy part of her town. She got off the bus, got swept up in a huge crowd of people. Swept up, knocked over, and she fell over. Luckily, she had a soft landing. "Oi," said her soft landing. "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm sorry," said the queen. "Oh, no matter. I was going to have a break, get something to eat." "Oh, fish and chips by any chance?" Yeah, I thought I might do fish and chips tonight. If I didn't fancy a curry takeaway or roast beef at the Savoy or... You do that kind of thing, do you? He handed her some magazines. "Just shout, 'Bigger show, bigger show,'" he said, and off he went. "Oh, bigger shoe." Someone chucked some money in her lap and took a magazine. "Bigger shoe?" Someone else threw some money and took a magazine. With all the coins flying around, she was worried she'd be recognised. Before she knew it, he was standing in front of her again. But this time, he had a great big bag, and she knew exactly what was in it. "Come with me," and off he went. She had no choice but to follow him. He took her round the corner, down an alley, behind a cinema, out the back of some restaurants where there was cats chasing rats, and then eventually he sat down under a huge heating pipe. "It's lovely here, nice and warm." He gave her a bag of chips. They were drenched in salt and vinegar. They smelled gorgeous. When he reached towards her with a great big dark bottle, she really wasn't sure if she should drink from that bottle. But the chips were so vinegary and salty that her lips were beginning to tingle, and she knew she needed to have a drink. "Bleh," the man burped. "Bleh," the queen burped. "Well," she said, "I'd better be going home now." "Home? Ho, 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 ho. You've got a home?" "Oh, yes," she said, thinking, "I have several homes." But she chose not to mention them. "Well then," he said, "have you got any spare room in your home?" "Oh, I'd be lying if I said I didn't." "Oh, I'd love to be able to put my head down tonight, especially after that big bag of chips and that naughty bit of cider." "I expect we can find a room for you." Would there be any room in the room for a friend of mine?" he said, hopefully.
I suppose there would,"
And would there be anyone at home who'd like some lovely fish and chips? She thought about who was at home, and she knew they would like some. So off they went, and the man seemed to know everyone who was sitting in a doorway or lying on a bench, and he wanted to tell all of them where he was sleeping tonight. And as they say, one thing led to another, and before she knew it, they were leaving the West End with quite a trail of waifs and strays, including several dogs. And as they reached her home, she thought to herself, I do hope they don't mind sharing.